You know, it's that time of the morning, or rather, this time of the week.
Yes,
which we always
of course.
look forward to. Yes.
Of course, Wake Up Nigeria. We like to call this edition the Wonder Woman edition.
That's right. Home days always bring that relief as they put the weekend in our side.
And it definitely gives ladies of Wake Up Nigeria a chance to come together and bring you an extra special edition of setting the pace when it comes to breakfast shows.
Yes, and that's right. And you know that means that you get not just two, but 1, 2, 3, 4. Four beautiful ladies
Yes.
helping you to get your morning started the right way.
Definitely. And of course, the time we have may be limited, but definitely the fun promises to never stop, never.
Absolutely. Like we always love to say, no one in your household should be asleep at this time. Please tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend.
Of course, that Wake Up Nigeria comes on your screens every 7 a.m. on Mondays to Fridays, only on TVC. My name is Winfrey Agboleshe.
And my name is Mary Bashua Alimi. Stream the show live at tvcentertainment.tv and on Facebook at TVC Connect. Now you can also watch on GOTV channel 27 and on UHF channel 49.
And do not forget to download the TVC app on both the Android and iOS stores. That also allows you to follow us anywhere or from anywhere.
In the world.
Yeah.
Everywhere.
And out of the world.
Out of the world as well. That's where I was going. You knew where I was going. Okay, at this point, let's tell you what we have in store for you. Oluchi Maduike is a nutritionist and the founder of Whole Eats and Community Pot, which is a wellness and nutrition initiative. She'll be joining us, being in the light of World Food Day celebration, which was on Monday.
And of course, World Menopausal Day was also sometime this week, and we'll definitely be having a very, very interesting conversation about that. It was actually yesterday, and we'll have Mosumola Dosumu definitely on that one. She definitely has 23 years of experience in as a videographer and a menopausal expert. So make sure you sit in for that one.
Now, how physical are you in your marriage and how public do you get with those displays? On relationship, we'll be having Ebenezer Diaolu, the provost of Marriage Builder Academy. We'll be having this conversation in a bit. Can't wait for that one.
And then on performance, we have Oshilijo Elizabeth, an Afrobeat singer and songwriter who defines her love of music as being inspired by personal life and society.
And then we wrap things up with a chat with Oluchi Maduike, her beauty, health and fashion lifestyle enthusiast. We can't wait to have that conversation. The big one.
Yeah.
It's MM's birthday.
Yes,
and she's not here. She's actually in the building right now. You know
MM, extra.
As in,
Super
extra
extra.
glammed up. MM wants to come here looking stunning.
Someone asked me, is she coming in a ball dress?
But somebody is in trouble because somebody sold MM a dress that refused to fit. Wow. And that is what even delayed her this morning.
Wow.
By the time she gets a hold of that person that wants to ruin her birthday, you guys will
she shall
hear the end
strangle
of
the
it.
person.
Strangle is an understatement. We know that.
But then again, she's looking
she's looking so
glamorous.
good.
Yeah.
Yes.
And with great energy as well. She'll be here in no time at all.
Time for the news update on Wake Up Nigeria. I am Mary Bashua Alimi. The chairman of the Lagos State Chapter of Christian Association of Nigeria, Stephen Adegbite, has joined other prominent Nigerians to throw his weight behind the presidential candidate of the All Progressives Congress, APC, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, as the 2023 elections draw near. Adegbite's endorsement was announced at the Senator Oluremi Tinubu's presentation of account of her stewardship at the National Assembly. Abimbola Agbebi reports.
I stand here today with a heart full of gratitude to God Almighty.
It's the presentation of accounts of stewardship of 12 years sojourn at the Upper Legislative Chamber of the National Assembly. The event also featured a thank you luncheon in honor of leaders and stakeholders in Lagos Central Senatorial District. Senator Oluremi Tinubu recalled with nostalgia the beginning of her journey to the National Assembly 12 years ago, reeling out a success story and the impact on Lagos State.
When this journey began, all I had was a sense of purpose, a burning desire within me to deliver on quality, and tens of thousands of people empowered, along with hundreds of project sites across the district, I can confidently say that I've given this senatorial district my all.
For Remi Tinubu, it's been a good ride, but she's appreciative of the support of her people. Wife of the Lagos State Governor, Ibijoke Sanwo-Olu, was among dignitaries that attested to the sterling performance of the lawmaker in the past 12 years.
Let me sincerely thank her for the sustenance of that particular promise our party made through her.
She's been the one that has seen a lot of women that have been sleeping in their slumber and allowing them to wake up, spring forth and stand out.
I've been there throughout the journey, about 12 years of stewardship. We've learned a lot, and we are so sure that if we do the same thing, God will continually to bless our people.
The essence of our gathering here today is to appreciate and celebrate those who are with her from the beginning to this point.
It was also a good time to drum support for the presidential candidates of the All Progressives Congress (APC), Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, as the people here highlighted his leadership qualities.
For us, the body of Christ, I told other friends in the north, I said Asiwaju has not done evil to us in the southwest, not only in Lagos. So nobody can tell us we will not support him. He's our man. We are going to support him.
I owe them this thank you luncheon to be able to appreciate them publicly and to say we did it and we made it.
Oluremi Tinubu served in the 7th, 8th, and the 9th Senate. Some of the bills she sponsored include an act to establish National Security Scheme for the elderly, Labour Act Amendment Bill, Prison Act Amendment Bill, and special federal grants for Lagos State Bill. Abimbola Agbibi, TVC News, Lagos.
Outside Nigeria, British Prime Minister Liz Truss has apologized for a controversial mini-budget that crashed the country's currency, rattled financial markets, and led to her firing a finance minister and closest political ally. In an exclusive interview with the BBC, Truss insisted that she would lead her Conservative Party into the next general election, despite her government being under huge pressure from investors and party members since the mini-budget was unveiled in late September. The plan, which proposed unfunded tax cuts, huge government borrowing, and exempted energy companies from a windfall tax, sends the pound tumbling to its lowest level against the dollar in decades.
Now, I recognise we have made mistakes. I'm sorry for those mistakes, but I've fixed the mistakes. I've appointed a new Chancellor. We have restored economic stability and fiscal discipline. And what I now want to do is go on and deliver for the public. We were elected on the 2019 manifesto. I'm determined to deliver on that. Levelling up, securing investment into all parts of our country, getting roads built, getting opportunities.
And that's it on the news update for this hour on Wake Up Nigeria. There's so much more to come. Just stay with us.
And we are back. Thanks for staying with us. It's time for us to go through the front pages of the newspaper. And we will be starting with The Punch, making the headlines here on political rally attacks. INEC summons parties. Police plan 13 billion naira firearms purchase. And on the riders here we have IG INEC chair to meet Adamu Ayu. Party leaders over violent campaigns. Our governorship candidates didn't mind attack on PDP rally, says Kaduna APC. And Northern Coalition to publish Atiku Tinubu Obi's promises. And at the top of the paper here, sorry about that. Okay. At the top of the paper here, we have, sorry about that. Let's take this again. Yes, on terrorism, Lafarge's Nigeria stock plunges amid $778 million fine. And Tinubu launches campaign, unveils manifesto Friday. And Nigerians pay over 1 trillion naira tax to 36 states. And on insurgency killed 100,000, displaced 2 million, says CDS. And that's all we can take on the Punch newspaper. We move over to The Guardian. On violent campaigns making the headlines here, INEC summons political parties for dumping peace accord. And at the top of the paper here, just above the mast, we have on 2023, North has not endorsed any presidential candidate, Arewa leaders clarify. And Rivers Delta monarchs berate federal government for not visiting flood victims. We are being married off to pay debts. Yobe children cry out. And you can find more of that story on page 7 of the paper. And also here, bandits kill monarch, 4 others, kidnap 17 in Niger Plateau. And let's see what's at the bottom of the paper here. We have on Constitution, 25 states hide behind state police, local government autonomy to frustrate amendments. And that's it on the Guardian newspaper. We move over to the Daily Sun, making the headlines here. On the masthead, we have title holders endorse Ugwanyi's senatorial bid. And state assemblies put review of constitution in jeopardy. And on the riders here, only 11 votes on 44 proposed changes. And NLC mobilizes against governors, speakers. And here at the corner of the paper, INEC plans security meeting, worries over violence at campaigns, hate speech, insist on deployment of technology. And gunmen on rampage in Anambra, Niger, Plateau, Bauchi, Benue, kill 8, kidnap Catholic priests, 25 others. And finally here, making the headlines also in the newspaper, we have, I'll build on Buhari's legacy, says Tinubu. Says president has delivered on APC promises. And that's all we can take on the front pages this morning.
Okay, time for us to have a conversation, even as we celebrate the birthday girl. Happy birthday, MM. She would diva us today, but we'll take it.
Well, unfortunately,
yes,
the dress that I plan to be diva in decided to have a wardrobe malfunction.
God said you should be humble today.
The universe is telling me something.
The universe.
I'll take it in good stride. Thank you very much. I'm listening. And I hear you.
More grace. One of these days, we're going to plan a trip, a
I don't understand. You're still planning. It's my birthday. You have not planned.
Don't worry.
No, there's already a plan.
Don't worry.
Except that
there's a reason why I'm talking about trips.
Have not planned.
The reason why I'm talking about trips
have not
is
planned.
because of, some of the comments that we're hearing online. There was a lot trending yesterday. Winfrey has a little more info on it.
Oh, yeah. So basically, there was a post. It's basically about the NIDCOM boss, Abike Dabiri, right? So there was a post. Let me just read the post, right? So the first post literally was that you guys are not doing enough to protect Nigerians. That was not the first post. This was a response to a post earlier. Exactly. You're being soft on the Indian government about these issues. That's why issues like this keep on happening over here in Nigeria. Indians go about their normal lives without fear of mob attack. Why can't Nigerians have same freedom? So the response to that was like she should go to Indonesia and see how Nigerians are treated. Momo woman supporting a failed government. She's equally part of the failure. Eye service, exclamation mark. So we have Abike Dabiri respond, or they. You go to Indonesia, carry drugs, do cultism, and come begging to be rescued from death sentence. Thank God for the NDLEA in Nigeria, now saving people like you from death row. So since that response, the internet has literally gone agog with people airing their different selfies. So what do you guys think? Do you think the response was called for or no?
So I was literally cringing at the first message, because I know that as much as we like to call out the government on things that they could be doing better, there are people that are actually working. Now, whether they're getting the results we need as of right now is another...
As expected.
As expected is another conversation, but people are actually still working. Yeah. And I believe, I would like to believe that Abike Dabiri is working, and she's working hard, but she has a lot to cover. Calling her out on issues on public forums might not be the right idea, but then I'm not gonna say that her responding in that way was also equally right. So I would like to believe that she also responded with other information about
No, of course, yeah, like after that, she actually went, like right after that response, she went on, like literally putting down everything that has been done to curtail the situation.
So, you know, the fact that she responded with things that had been done, meaning she had done, I give her kudos for that.
Yeah.
Now, back to what she said. See, we keep forgetting that we are humans. I'm not going to make excuses for Abike Dabiri. However, we keep forgetting that when you keep insulting people, one day
they will reply.
They will reply. Abike, I'm actually surprised because this one is even small. I've heard really vile things said to that woman on social media, and in most cases, she does not respond.
Yeah.
She has that thing with her, like. I think she just looks at it like, whoa, if I respond to you one day, una no go like her. And then that day,
now finally came.
4 days to the election. She cannot, 4 months rather, she cannot be bothered. She has done her job. She has fought a good fight.
Yeah.
So, well, we know quite well.
Yeah, I mean, okay. They say every day is for the thief, one day is for the owner. Yeah, that's exactly what crossed my mind when I saw that, you know, that thread of tweet or those thread of tweets, which of course she trended yesterday. And we have this sense of entitlement mentality, to be honest. And it's so easy to hide behind our keypads and just randomly trolling people that we can't have this sort of conversations.
Yeah, you cut out to them
even when we see them. I can imagine, okay, I mean, I know her birthday was last week or 2 weeks ago. I imagine that maybe this person that responded to her would have seen her at that event. I would not say anything to her. But because he cannot see her, he's hiding behind the keypad and just, you know, trolling. So I think sometimes we need to remember the place of, I mean, this sometimes just begs the question for our sense of empathy.
Yes, but at the same time, I would like to say that I don't think the response was called for. I mean, yes, as a human being, you feel it, but then again, as a government official, to be honest, I felt the response at office, the response should have been more constructive. That's
the
my
one
personal
of,
take.
that's how you guys do, Abby?
Yeah.
The other parts.
Yeah.
Do you understand? I feel the other parts was her person.
Yeah,
then
you
the
know that
response was our office. Do you understand? I just feel that like there could have been a better way, could have been handled the better way. But yeah, of course, I mean, Instagram bullies should be put in their place sometimes.
Next time,
but then again,
say
the office.
Okay, so just remember that they are public servants and they do actually serve.
And they're humans as well.
Yes, but public office, and that should go first.
Let's take this break. The conversation, of course, can continue on social media at TVC Connect. Stay with us. Welcome to the kitchen. Yes, don't we all love food? Well, some of us do. I love food.
I don't.
You don't, and you're a chef.
No, doesn't have to.
We are seeing the food, though. Welcome to the kitchen, Chef Blossom.
Good morning,
Good morning. Okay, so what are we having for breakfast? I really can't wait to hear what this is because it looks like quite a spread.
Yes, it is. So we'll be having our fries and some egg sauce.
Fries and egg sauce. Sounds yummy.
Yes.
Vegetable egg sauce, because I can see the vegetables as well. Yep. So let's talk about the ingredients.
Okay, so for the egg sauce, we'll be using our star ingredients, which is our eggs, our tomatoes, our scotch bonnet, our tarodo, then our sweet green peppers, our onions, some salt, some seasoning. That's for the sausage, and of course some vegetable oil for fry. So for our fries, we have our potatoes, our shredded potatoes, our plantains, and some yams.
Okay, so we have potato, plantains, and yams.
Yes.
All right, so what's the process? Could you run me through that?
It's a very simple meal to make, trust me. So what you just do is we'll start by chopping up our vegetables, then whisk our eggs with some salt and some seasoning. Then we have some vegetable oil go in, a bit of vegetable oil go in for fry. So we have our onions going for fry for say 2 minutes to release the heat from the onions. Then we add in our tomatoes and then the red pepper, like the Scotch bonnet pepper. The Scotch bonnet goes in, and then lastly we have our green pepper before the eggs. That's the last vegetable to go in, so it doesn't get soggy before the eggs.
Why don't we just put the tomatoes and pepper with the eggs, you know, just whisk it together and fry?
It's optional. You can decide to do that. It's healthier that way. Yes, optional. I just want to go with this process. Then for the fries, it's already
Which one
salted.
is going first?
I like to go with the plantain first.
Okay, then we'll
fry the yams.
The
then
yams
sweet potato last. Yes.
Because I know sweet potato tends to stick.
Yes,
so
it has this
way of easing in the oil.
Yes.
Like sometimes
it sticks to the pan.
Yes, it sticks to the pan sometimes. So what I do sometimes is to put a bit of water.
And then you want to deep fry.
And you want to deep fry as well. Deep fry with a bit of water. It's so it cooks kind of while frying.
Makes
so by
it
the time
crunchy.
and makes it crunchy. So by the time you're taking it out, it's a lot easier that way.
So it's salted already. They are all salted.
Oh, they're all salted.
Yes.
If I want to do without the salt, it's still okay, right?
It's still okay. And then you don't want to leave out of water. You want to retain it in water to retain its freshness. Because you know when you cut out your yams, it has tendency of turning dark.
Yes.
So that's why it's in the water, because you might be wondering why do we have it still in the water.
Okay, that reminds me of something. Sweet potato, so yam, yes, overnight. But sweet potato, is it possible to cut it like the previous night with water like this and it will last till the next
Yes,
morning?
I did it last week, yes.
Ah.
Yes, just...
Because I know yam, yes, but I've always worried about sweet potato.
Same way, you can have it in the water with some salt. That way you don't have to start salting it from start. So that way the salt has already entered inside.
Okay, so it's
good to go.
Okay.
Yes.
So let's get started. Which one are you doing first? Slicing?
Okay, start by chopping our...
Yeah. So we'll start the cooking process.
Yep.
So I like the fact that with food you can, you know, explore, try different methods, and you still achieve something really cool. Someone like me, I would definitely add ginger and garlic.
Yes.
The onions. Like, I cannot imagine my eggs without them.
You fry your garlic first.
Yes,
chop
ginger, garlic. Or in fact, most times I like it. I still like the taste. Call me whatever you want.
You know, some persons don't like garlic, so I like to be...
ginger and garlic. Yes, so I like feeling it. So the crunchy.
You can also add milk, do you know, to your eggs.
Yes, of course.
Good.
Yes, there are different ways you can make your eggs. Okay,
yes, you can add milk.
Feel free to explore. The most important thing is to have your
Whatever
yam
works for your taste
egg, your yam, potato, and plantain fries with your egg sauce.
And don't get me wrong, you can do it just here. You can do it just work with your budget, whatever you have.
Talking about budgets, how much did you buy these eggs?
Okay, we get in crates.
Okay.
So a crate is for 2,200. Yes.
How much did you call it?
2,200.
Ah, so they are cheating me in my neighborhood.
How much are they selling?
2,400.
Wow.
Ah.
It's 2,200. I got this one.
I'll buy it from you instead. Yes, I'll buy it from you.
So it's 2,200.
Because it seems like we pay so much for everything these days. Everything is being deregulated. It's getting really frustrating trying to get food items. And shockingly, you see that tomatoes and pepper, they seem to be getting cheaper kind of now.
You know, it comes in seasons.
Yes.
So sometimes you might go to the market today and you get tomato for a particular quantity, for say 1,000 naira, and then you go back tomorrow, it will increase like 1,500. So it depends on.
I would say the best thing to do is when it's in season, buy in bulk.
Buy in bulk, then you do the process of maybe blending them and stocking them in your fridge.
Yes, if you have a very good
just that when you want to make fresh meals like eggs, you just have to use the hard tomatoes for them.
Who says?
Okay, you like the blended ones.
See, just shout, in this economy, you will take what is available. As long as you're able to get the taste you need. You take what is available. You blend the pepper. Then another trusty thing that can help you is sachet tomato.
Yeah.
So that one also helps with saving cost and all.
For your eggs?
No, not for, I'm talking about stew. Why would you put sachet tomato? What are you trying to achieve? I don't understand.
Some persons
I'm just
use it.
Using it with your...
Some persons use it, they dissolve it in water.
To fry
eggs, yes. So you said something available, so they use it. So I was also going to say, I was going to say that for your seasoning, you could also want to use, this is just our normal seasoning, you could want to use your paprika, your Cajun spice, any spice that works.
We will put everything when we are doing it at home. Right now, though, let's join our MM on the couch.
And yes, now on to our nutrition segment. We have with us Oluchi Maduike. She is a nutritionist and the founder of Whole Eats and Community Pots, which is a wellness and nutrition initiative. And she'll be talking about, that's in light of the World Food Day, hidden hunger. Whoever thought hidden hunger? I know. Right? Okay, so tell us, what is hidden hunger?
Hidden hunger is a situation that occurs when a person is having enough calories, but not enough nutrients. So you're having your rice, which is our staple, you're having your bread, your yam, so you're not hungry, you're not feeling growling, you don't have growling sounds in your tummy, you're not having headaches, you're not fainting from lack of food. But then the system, the body is still hungry for nutrients because you're not taking them in, and it doesn't show up immediately, actually.
And those nutrients are not in the foods that you're taking?
They're not, usually not. That's why. And sometimes they are, but because there is some kind of metabolic illness in the body, which also, okay, so sometimes people say they're lactose intolerant, and that's your inability to digest lactose. So you're not getting enough protein from that source. So the other metabolic illnesses like that don't allow you to absorb correctly certain nutrients. So even though you're having them, your body is not readily available for your body to use in the areas where it would normally.
Now, how does one identify that you're having hidden hunger? And then, is it an ailment? Is it an illness? Is it a cause for concern?
It is a cause for concern. An illness, no. I think it's just the awareness just needs to be out there. That sometimes when you're constantly having difficulty concentrating, you need to check your nutrients level. Sometimes when you're even sensitive, like you get to work and someone says, "Oh, what are you doing? What's wrong with you?" I start to cry. Very little things make you emotional. Then you need to check your B level, because your B vitamins, they give you cushion to handle stress. So if you're not able to handle stress adequately, then you want to check those things first before you start digging deeper to look for illnesses and diseases. I recently had a sister go through the last 3 months, going through all kinds of diagnoses, and she was scared for her lives. And I just kept saying, so I think that you're really deficient in certain nutrients, until she found a place where she could run that test, and she found that there were a number of illnesses that, nutrients that she was deficient in. Was there also high sugar levels, because she had gotten to the level where she was always weak and she always felt the need to take in sugar, but there were other nutrients that were still deficient in her, and they were presenting now. They had gotten to a point where they were presenting symptoms.
You know, that's the problem, really, because, I mean, you might go for diagnosis, and even the medical expert may not identify that this is what the issue is.
Right.
So it's also important to pay attention to those things. Now let's talk about how to respond to it.
Okay, so
as an individual.
Yeah, so I want to talk about what you said first. We need to begin to be aware to check, you know, because it is hidden, so it's not on the surface. So, but once you start to feel unwell, the first things you want to check, you know, it's not normal for you to go to the hospital and they say, "Oh, go check your nutrients level."
Exactly.
But we need to begin to do that, even for yourself. Search out what your nutrient deficiencies are.
How?
And be responsive. There are tests. The laboratories that run the test. I mean, I don't think I'm allowed to start saying, "Okay, you could go to this place." Yeah, exactly. So you could go and say you want to run your blood serum, vitamin and mineral levels, yes, and check that out, and then begin to adjust your diet. So, and sometimes if you see that you've adjusted your diet, you've tried to take in food, so for instance, if you're dealing with sleeplessness, it could be that you're low in magnesium. Right. So, and then if you're feeling bloated all the time, it could also, it's not always, it could also be linked to your magnesium. So
what are foods that are high in magnesium, for example?
Your grains.
Vegetables.
Your grains and your nuts.
And I take a lot of nuts, but then I'm always bloated.
Yeah, well, because it's better to eat your nuts raw. Yeah, especially your
like peanut butter.
Especially your groundnut. And I know it's boring raw, but it's better.
Okay.
You have your nutrients available for you at that point, and it's easier for your body to break it down.
Okay. Okay, so we were talking about checking your nutrients level. You go check your bloods. What other things should one check for?
Okay, so
that are prevalent, so that then, I mean, if you don't even have the resources to see a medical expert in that regard, you can fix it up in your diet yourself.
Yeah, I personally believe that healthcare is personal. It's critical care that should take you to the hospital.
Yeah.
You're first your own doctor, and the first resource that you have is food.
Yes.
So if you start feeling any of these things I've talked about, and I might not be able to go through the full spectrum, but if you start to feel unwell at all, the first place to check is your food.
Okay.
And then, I mean, you have Dr. Google these days, and I'm not saying become, you know...
Yeah, but you know what Google does to you, especially when you're having a health concern.
Don't go look
to get paranoid.
Don't go look for symptoms. Look for food. Okay, what can you eat if you're feeling this way? What are you likely to be deficient in if you're feeling this way?
I think that is the first point of check.
Right.
What food should I take if I am feeling this way? So if I wake up feeling bloated,
exactly.
What am I lacking?
Exactly.
What
are you likely to be
lacking? Thank you so much for this insightful conversation. I am going to pay more attention to it, and I'm sure someone watching right now is like, oh yeah, now that I have learned this, I'm going to pay more attention. Thank you so much for the conversation.
Thank you for having me.
All right, people, we have to go on a quick break now. Wake Up Nigeria continues in a bit. Stay with us.
Welcome back. You're still watching Wake Up Nigeria, and it's the beautiful Wonder Woman edition today, as it's Wednesday, and we're about to have a very interesting conversation with Mosumola Dosumu, who is a seasoned community pharmacist. And of course, I think I said you're a videographer.
I'm a videographer.
Yeah, but you have some experience there.
I am one.
Oh, you are one. And of course, she's also an expert when it comes to menopause. And today we're talking menopause in respect to the World Menopause Day, which happens every 18th of October, 2022. Welcome to Wake Up Nigeria.
Thank you very much.
It is a pleasure having you here. Okay, so now, earlier we were talking, and you actually said the word menopause means body change, generally. But then again, we know that when we hear menopause, we think about people 50, or women 50 and above. So please shed more light on menopause and what it is.
Okay, menopause simply means body change.
Okay.
And for most women, the body starts changing from 42.
42, okay.
And then between 42, 50, they have their blood flow dwindles.
Okay.
What I mean by dwindling is from 5 days to 3 days to 2 days. That period is called perimenopause.
All right, perimenopause.
Menopause. And when that happens, 12 months without their period, that is when you say, I am in menopause state.
Okay.
So there's a thin line between menopause and perimenopause. So when your body system starts to change, you observe so many changes. Every organ of the system is being affected. And you have over 40 signs and symptoms.
40 signs and symptoms, okay.
But you see, it takes a very sensitive woman to know when her body system is changing.
It's changing.
But you see, in our environment, we don't get to talk about menopause.
We don't, actually.
And you see people going from one hospital to another hospital, and most of the time they tell them they have malaria or they have typhoid. And if those signs and symptoms are not immediately attended to, you have complications.
Okay, okay.
This menopause actually deals with the estrogen level going down. And once the estrogen level goes down to a certain level or even it gets depleted, those functions on the body that the estrogen level are supposed to be effective for, they are not, and that's when you start having complications.
Okay, so now we'll definitely talk about the 40 signs and symptoms, and then we'll talk about what we can do, right, or to attend to it. But before then, now, we spoke about how menopause doesn't affect only women.
Yes.
Okay.
You know, I said earlier on that menopause simply
Generally
means body change.
Yes.
Men also have their body system
there's
changing.
men inside the menopause, so
yes,
why
we're
not?
all human.
Yes.
Every man on earth has his or her body system changing.
Okay.
So men also go through menopause. The only difference is this. Women, the hormones responsible for menopause in women is called estrogen.
Yes.
The hormone responsible for men is called testosterone.
Yes. Okay. Okay.
And we have basically the same signs and symptoms.
Okay.
And then another difference is this. For women, you have the eggs, the estrogen, the hormone gets depleted immediately.
Yes.
At 51, no more estrogen, no more production. Okay. You are no more productive.
All right.
But for men, at the age of 30,
30, okay.
You have 1% of your testosterone reducing over time.
Over time, just 1%.
Just 1% over time. And that's why my 70-year-old, my 80 or 90-year-old father can impregnate a 21-year-old woman.
Yes.
But for a 55-year-old woman to be pregnant is a miracle.
Okay, it's a miracle. Okay, that explains a lot. So now let's move quickly to... So are we saying that over time for men, it's just that 1% that depletes?
1% every year.
Every year. Okay, understandable. Okay, so now let's talk quickly about the 40 symptoms you mentioned earlier.
Okay? When it affects the temperature, that's the hypothalamus on the system.
Okay.
You have hot flashes.
Okay.
When it affects the tongue, you have dry and burning sensations in your mouth.
Oh, okay.
It affects the bones. That gives rise to osteoporosis. The density of the bones is depleted.
Yes, it's depleted.
Then it affects the skin.
Okay.
It affects the eyes, the air.
It affects everything.
It affects everything. It affects sex.
Okay.
Your ability, your libido gets reduced.
Okay.
It affects every organ of the body.
As a woman.
As a woman, even as men.
Even as men.
But you see, the most important sign that they get to see or feel is when their libido goes down.
That's for the men?
That's for the men.
Okay.
When they have hot flushes, when they get tired, or their bones are painful.
Yes.
They do not give enough cognizance to that.
To that, true.
All they say is, oh, I'm working too hard.
Yes.
No, they don't believe it's menopause or andropause. But when they are not able to produce, they are not active at the other room.
Yeah, they start to...
They start to wonder, what's wrong with me?
Yes.
How can I improve my libido?
Okay.
But most of them do not associate it to aging.
All right. So now you spoke earlier about how we can actually address the symptoms early on to avoid complications. So now please talk a little bit on that.
Okay. Maybe I should give myself as an example.
Okay.
Okay, my body system started changing when I was 42.
Okay.
And the first sign I noticed was depression. And I used to beat my children a lot. I used to take it out on them.
No.
Then my 9-year-old son one day looked at me and said, Mom, you need help.
Oh, wow.
And I thought to myself, I need help. So for the first time, I'm a pharmacist, but you see, it never occurred to me that I could go through depression. So for the first time, I brought up my laptop and I looked at the signs and symptoms of depression. And out of 15, I was going through 13.
Wow. Okay.
I lost my mind for 2 years. But you see, most of us don't go to the hospital. So I kept reading and trying to find out what exactly could be wrong with me. And 2 years after, I noticed that something like a ball was moving in my stomach.
Oh, wow. Okay.
That was my womb changing.
Okay.
And I thought to myself, maybe I have stomach cancer. And I kept reading and reading and reading and reading and reading. And I think 4 years after, my skin started changing.
Okay.
And that made me to try to discover more.
Yeah.
And lo and behold, I read and I discovered I was going through menopause.
Okay.
And that is actually what led me to what I'm doing now.
Right now.
But you see, most of us are not very sensitive enough. But you see, all the while I was reading, I realized that menopause is not a form of sickness or disease. So I was able to put myself together.
Okay.
I changed my lifestyle.
Okay.
I changed my eating habit.
Okay. So all that can actually affect. So probably highlight on that.
It helps you to live and be able to cope more. But you see, when you lack knowledge, and that is what you start living in fear, then you start going from one hospital to another. And that gets complicated. And that's what is very, very destructive.
Okay.
And that is one of the reasons why I started the only and the first menopause group community in Nigeria. Right now it's virtual. We have over 500 people on that platform all over Nigeria. And what do? We educate people.
Educate people
We
about
do
the body
seminars.
changes. Okay.
Once you know what is wrong with you, you're able to cope better.
To cope better with it. Amazing. So this community now, do we have men or women in it?
Yes.
Okay, men and women. Amazing. Maybe we'll actually, follow you on social media and see what the community is like and probably join so we have more information about this. Thank you so much. This conversation has been really, really insightful. We're having birthdays today and we're getting older, so we need to know this thing. So we start checking ourselves. If you get it, you get it. Thank you so much. So much more to come. Make sure you keep it locked right here. We'll be right back. Give us the cameras and we know exactly what to do, especially when it's the morning and of course you're watching.
Yes, we have never disappointed.
Never.
And we are not about to start.
No.
So midweek editions always see the women of Wake Up Nigeria come together for something absolutely amazing.
Definitely. It's been one whole hour already and we're definitely not even close to being done, right? We're definitely bringing nothing but fun to you.
That's right. We don't know about you, but our steps are light because we have a whole day ahead of us. And we know that the possibilities are endless.
Make us a compulsory start to your morning and we'll definitely and we'll go over and beyond, right? To bring it to you.
I was trying to play an MM there. She does go like this.
Yeah.
Well, Chef Blossom has been doing a bit in the kitchen and it doesn't get better than this.
Yes, Blossom is, as usual, trying to cook up his storm, plantain, potatoes, yam, all this is just for my birthday.
Yes, I was waiting for that part. As a YouTuber.
I literally was going to say she's going to be entitled to that.
She has not said it to me. All right, anyway, my name is Mary Bashua Alimi.
And I am Moving Free Agbeleche. Do stream the show live at tvcentertainment.tv and on Facebook at TVC Connect. You can also watch us on GOTV channel 27 and on UHF channel 49.
You can download the TVC app on both the Android and iOS stores. Of course, that allows you to watch us from anywhere in the world.
Of course, we definitely still have so much to come.
How physical are you in your marriage? And how public do you get with those displays? On relationship, we'll be having Ebenezer Diaolu. And, well, that will be the center of conversation this morning. Displaying PDA. Yes, the beauty of PDA in marriage.
And then on performance, we have Oshilijo Elizabeth, an Afrobeat singer and songwriter who defines her love of music as being inspired by personal life and society.
Finally, we'll be having a chat with Oluchi Maduike, a beauty, fashion, health, and lifestyle enthusiast. And best of all, she is a beauty queen. She's the winner of 4 national and international beauty pageants. As a matter of fact, she was crowned the most beautiful girl in Nigeria in 2021, going on to represent Nigeria at the Miss World pageant in December last year. Breakfast is still on course. Don't worry. I feel like if the chef hadn't shown up today, MM would have had all of us by the throats. So it's a good thing Chef Blossom is here. Great to have you on the show, Chef Blossom, making us breakfast of fries. Let me rename it. Fries mélange.
Oui.
Yeah. It's a mélange, huh? So we're having fries mélange with egg sauce. Okay, so what next? What are we doing next? We're frying the yams now. You're about to make the eggs. Remember that day we decided to do this segment in French? And then we started looking for words.
I was going to complain. I was going to say fries mélange avec des œufs végétales.
Aha, des œufs végétales. Yes. So that's what we're having this morning, okay? Fries mélange avec des œufs végétales. Yeah. Okay. So fries. So we have our plantain ready, by the way. So our plantain is ready, and we have the yams. Oh my goodness, it looks so good.
Doesn't it?
Let me bring this closer.
Thank you.
Are you sure this thing is fried?
Yes, it is.
If I did not see the brown, I won't believe you. See how neat and how did you cut your yams?
You know, it was like all from the scratch.
Oh,
it's
so
not the ones you get in the supermarket that are already preserved in the freezer. Like when you have your yams, just cut it into the round shape, then you cut it thin. You don't want it to be too fat, so it doesn't get too bulky. So you get it crunchy.
And that way it's able to cook through faster, even.
And then it gets it very crunchy.
Yes.
And then I salted it in some water, and then I allowed it to stay in the water to retain its freshness.
And I've noticed something
That's
about
why
salting yam and sweet potato. It actually helps it stay thick. I think
You
that's
think
the word
so?
to use. Yes, I've observed it does, especially when you do it for a long time, like you keep it soaked and salted for a long time. It's like it now forms some kind of preservation on the outer layer.
Yeah.
So it becomes a bit, I don't know whether to call it rubbery, but it becomes it just thickens up the outer layer, that is. And so it helps you get your crunchiness even better.
For me, I think some persons will say they don't want to salt their yams or their potatoes, their fries.
Okay.
I think it adds more taste, and it helps it, it just gives you that feeling that there is.
Okay, so we'll start with frying our eggs now, okay? We'll start with frying our eggs.
Thanks for staying with us. We are about to have our relationship segment. And today we are talking about PDAs, yes, public display of affections. And of course, on that today, doing justice to that in a bit, is Ebenezer Diolu. He's the provost of Marriage Builder Academy and the founder of Sexual Purity Campaign Initiative, which he runs in secondary schools. And today we will be talking about the beauty of PDA in marriage. I like the specificity in the marriage, not relationships, because we are endorsing marriages. You're very welcome, sir. Good morning. How are you doing today?
Happy birthday to you.
Thank you so much. Thank you very much. Yes, PDAs, public display of affection. Why is it so important? Okay, first, let's establish what it is and its importance in marriage.
PDA, public displays of affection in marriage, it means physical contacts between husband and wife that is outside, that is done outside the house, not behind a closed door. Like you're on the road where people can see you and you do some physical touches.
So there we saw different pictures of, display of love and affection. And it's so beautiful to see. Now let's talk about its importance.
Okay, like I said, it's so important because it communicates boldness. And then it tells people that this is my person. You can't do PDA to just anyhow person on the road.
Yeah.
You can't just touch anyhow. You can't just touch anybody on the road. So if you touch your wife or touch your husband in the public, it's a way of saying, this is mine. I am yours, you are mine. And so it's so important. And another thing is it gives confidence to your spouse. It shows to that person that this, my husband, this, my wife, really loves me and is proud of showing it to people.
I feel that there's actually a thin line between PDAs and being territorial. Do you think so?
Well, it is the spouse that will tell us whether this is genuine or this man is just being insecure, holding me everywhere.
Exactly.
So some men do that because they just want to show people that
that she's mine. Yes, I'm mine. Yeah.
So
it's
some
sort of
will do
possessive, borderline possessive.
Yeah. So some will do it in a mild way, genuine way, not too aggressive. But when you see a man outside, probably in a party, and for 1 hour you are just grabbing your wife, holding her everywhere, so she can't even go and greet her friends. You are so possessive. That one is no longer PDA.
Now, how do you address that as the spouse who feels that your partner is being insecure?
You might need to communicate. Let him or her know that, I'm not comfortable with this you are doing. I appreciate if it is the real PDA you are doing for me. But this one that you are body guiding me, I can't, if I want to go to the restroom, you have to follow me, everybody just have to, that one is too much, it's choking. So you need to communicate with him or her that, we can do this public display of affection without you being too possessive and controlling, and then, with communication, the person should be able to tone it down a little and you feel free.
Now, let's flip the coin. Imagine if, we're in a marriage situation and I love PDAs. Women generally love PDAs,
That's true.
right? And my husband doesn't. How do I communicate to him that, Mr., I like being touched in public. Please touch me.
Well, that's why we encourage the singles coming into marriage to discuss their likes and, you know, what you like. Let your spouse be aware of it even before you get married. Now, let's assume you are not married. Your spouse is not really strong on PDA and you love it. You still have to communicate it. Then you begin it. You start it. Let him see that you are doing it. Like if you want to be touched outside, maybe, you know, a little hug outside, do it for your spouse. You tell him, I love it when we hug outside. It's not bad. It's just a way of showing love and everything. With patience, you know, gradually the person will be adjusting to it, and then you are good to go.
All right.
It won't happen in a day, but
you have to keep
doing it. With time, your spouse will adjust to it, and then the two of you will be good on it.
All right.
He might now become guru in it more than you.
And then there are also people who also get, you know, very jealous and antsy when they see other people displaying, you know, affection.
Yes, you are right.
Yeah.
You are right. But there's no need to be jealous about it. What I would just say is that there should be a boundary. Don't do PDA in such a way that you'll be causing societal nuisance.
Oh, wow.
You understand? You know, a lot of people, how could you be hugging your wife in the public to the point that you're having erection? That one is becoming extreme. You understand?
Okay.
So
you have to do it with caution.
Caution. Then, when you see singles or little children there, minimize what you do in the public.
Right.
So,
thank you so much. This has been quite insightful. I'm sure someone watching right now has learned one or two. And if they're not on the PDA ship, well, join in. Thank you so much again for this conversation.
We're actually going to say exactly. We're going to say all right. But you know, we are always looking forward to the conversation that comes just before the end of the show.
Indeed. And this time, it's with a beauty queen in the person of Oluchi Maduike. She is a beauty, fashion, health, and lifestyle enthusiast who balances her time as an ER and ICU nurse. A beauty queen, an entrepreneur, and a content creator. So many sides to this lady.
Yes, so she is the winner of 4 national and international beauty pageants and was crowned the most beautiful girl in Nigeria 2021. She went on to represent Nigeria at the Miss World pageant in December last year. It's great to have you, Oluchi.
Thanks for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
Oh, it's easy to tell.
It is.
Especially you having to wake up so early.
Right.
That takes we were talking about it just some seconds ago.
Yes, I'm not really a morning person, but I do what I have to do. A lot in camp, we had to wake up early, so...
So MBGN is a heavy crown to wear.
It is.
It's huge. It is like the crown of all crowns here in Nigeria.
Yes.
Miss World is the pageant, the international pageant everyone wants to go for.
Right.
You want to talk to us a bit about that experience when you were there?
Oh, wow. It feels like just yesterday, but I can't believe it's already been a year since I was crowned MBGN. And then I got the opportunity to obviously represent Nigeria. Like you said, it's a very prestigious pageant going to Miss World. And a lot of people, I mean, that's the one that Abani went for. And as a little girl, that's what they always called me. So it was like a dream come true. Very, very exciting, meeting like 100 different ladies from different countries, different experiences, and just being the title Nigeria. Because when you're at an international pageant, they don't call you by your name; they just call you by your country until they get that kind of personal relationship with you. So very exciting. This journey was just one that was very fulfilling for me. Something I'd always wished for. So.
Okay, so you're handing over in 2 days.
Yes.
How does it feel? Like, I know you've had a wonderful year, but how does it feel?
It's bittersweet, okay? So the bitter part, of course, we want to keep the crown forever because why not? But then the sweet part is also just seeing my successor and hoping that, you know, she does better than I do. That's one thing I'm very invested in, is like pouring back into her, kind of like a mentorship that I hope to have with her, just to kind of guide her and hopefully, like I said, she does better. But I'm really excited, honestly. It's just standing on stage and my speech playing behind me and I'm just waving, looking pretty.
How's the speech? How's it coming?
It is? It's beautiful. It's very. I have. But thank God on that day, I've recorded already. So it's just for me to look pretty, smile, blow kisses, and to have my mom and my family there. You know, it's kind of a full circle moment. So I'm excited.
You mentioned how you'd like to mentor her.
Yeah.
And so I just wonder, would you have loved to have been mentored? Were there certain things you wish you had known before you even went for the Miss World pageant?
You know, of course. I personally did reach out to previous queens as well, and I got a lot of information, and I think that was very, very helpful. So, but I would like to carry that forward. So I had a little bit of mentorship, which was really good. It kind of, you can't be really prepared for what you meet, but at least it gives you a little bit of cushion that at least somebody that has been to the event understands a little bit of like the behind the scenes, can give you like advice or at least point you to direction. So,
So we read from your profile, nursing. It also gives us a certain impression that you are a carer.
Yeah.
You have to be a caring person before you can actually go into, caregiving as a profession.
Yeah.
What was the plan in that particular area, and will you be going back?
Yes, I still, during my reign as MBGN, I was still balancing it as a nurse,
Okay.
Yes, I've always been a health professional, and I think it's something I would definitely want to continue. My purpose, I feel like, lies between inspiring people and spreading love, and I think being in the health profession, like you said, is something that you have to be able to love people, to be able to care for them in that moment. I work in ER and ICU, intensive care units. It's very intense. And meeting people at that very critical point in their life, it's a beautiful experience. I definitely plan to continue in that line, but also expanding my brand as well. So
I find it very curious. As a nurse,
Yeah.
you would think, oh, your head is all wrapped up in what you're doing.
Yeah.
Why did you decide to go into pageantry?
I'm someone that defines myself as a very multifaceted person. I've never just been okay, my head is facing this place, let me just stay there. So I think the beauty of it is that you can have hobbies even as a professional, and that's something I love that I left behind. Is that I'm a professional. I've worked for 5 years as a nurse, and within that time I still had my my passions and things that I was also. I love fashion. I love modeling. I love the beauty industry, and so as a beauty queen, I think that was also important for people to see that you can do both. You can do it all.
Well, it's about time for you to take that final walk in 2 days.
Yeah.
And it's about time for you to take that walk to our kitchen to also taste what our chef has put together.
Yes, but before we go to the kitchen, let me just say a quick one. Before we go to the kitchen, let me just say a quick one. What would you say you've taken from this moment, from this, not just the moments, this period of being a beauty queen? What have you taken out of it?
I would say the biggest thing is personal growth. This was a very, very humbling experience for me, beyond even what I expected. And I think the biggest thing is just, like I said, I've grown as a person. I've grown to understand kind of how the world, sometimes you're a bit bright-eyed and you're like, oh my God. And so when things happen to you, you don't always know how to respond to them. And I feel like anyone that has watched my reign, I've been very graceful about it. It wasn't easy, but it was something that I had to learn across the process, that it's not always going to look like what you expect, but it's about what you make out of it. That at the end of the day is the most important part of it.
So what's the plan now?
Yeah.
What's the plan?
What's
Listen.
project?
So obviously, I still plan to continue my humanitarian work. I was working with the Children Living with Cancer Foundation, and so that's still something I'm going to continue. I lost my father to leukemia 11 years ago, so it's a very personal project to me, and hopefully to expand within that region, but also expanding my brand, building the brand that I have. Like I said, I am a health professional, but I love to dabble into fashion, beauty, so almost becoming more of a personality and an inspiration to younger women.
I like the inspiration part.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's also an inspiring journey. When wearing that crown, you get to meet all sorts of really interesting, inspiring people. Any specific personality that you were really excited to meet that you got to in this past 1 year?
I think just the last Miss World was very inspiring, just because Tony Ann Singh was one of the, after Agbani, the next Black queen to be crowned. So I think that was a very inspirational moment to see that there's someone that looks just like me sitting in that position of power. And she's very inspirational. Meeting her, she's very down to earth. And so you start to see that it's not always about looking a certain type of way or being a certain type of way. You can be yourself and still prevail. So I think that was really good to meet her.
All right.
Okay.
So would you describe yourself as down to earth?
Oh, yes, 100%. If you get to know me, like, I think people are always very stunned and surprised because they have this notion of, like, I'm supposed to be, like, all, you know, preppy and stuck up, but I'm very down to earth. I'm very, like, I can interact with anybody. And I think that's one thing I love about myself, being able to just come down to anybody's level and meet them where they're at and have a good time.
So far, what would you say has been the biggest challenge?
Probably balancing my full-time career as well as being a beauty queen, because there were a lot of expectations that were set on me, and you know, unfortunately, I wouldn't be able to meet all of them because again, I am professional and I was doing nursing, and I didn't want to just walk away from the profession as well. So I think that was probably one of the most challenging things, managing expectations.
So there's something that a lot of well, I'll say models and beauty queens go through.
Yeah.
The whole idea of being a dumb blonde sometimes it becomes apparent in certain circles. So you find yourself in a particular environment and they just assume that you're not that intellectual.
Yes.
We know that you've studied. We know that you're in the medical profession right now. How have you been able to deal with that?
I feel like I've dealt with that all my entire life. I think, you know, even just being a pretty individual, being a female, you're already looked at like as less. So I think because I did have a professional career, it did help me a little bit. It cushioned it because people will be like, oh, she's a nurse. And every time I get the same response, if I tell them, oh, I'm MBGN, and they're like, you're a nurse, someone's like, oh my God. Like, it's almost like there's no expectation of you to be doing anything else. So like I said, it's just like redefining that and explaining to people that, you know, there's definitely something up there. And when you hear me speak as well, I think you can definitely see that I'm...
Absolutely.
I definitely have something up there. And you just have to have those conversations because unfortunately there are going to be people that are going to be ignorant about it. And until we start to present the best foot forward and people just really see that, you know, with beauty pageants, someone asked me one day, like, what do you feel like you get out of it? I'm like, the women that are in this room are the future leaders. You know, like, we have to be very well-rounded people that people don't see that behind the scenes. You have to be able to sit and talk in front of people, you know, all that kind of thing. So I think it's just something that we have to keep having a conversation about.
Great. So what's your favorite food?
Ooh, I love amala.
One day later. That was what we had for breakfast yesterday.
Oh, Lord,
but today we're having really cool stuff because Chef Blossom has something for us in the kitchen.
Okay, that's
so let's
great.
head over there.
Okay.
All right, then, let's go.
Yeah. Okay, so welcome to the kitchen, Chef, or rather, Queen Oluchi.
Queen Oluchi.
Okay, so breakfast is by Chef Blossom.
Oh, nice.
And this, we renamed it the French way.
Yes.
Yes, so we call it fries mélange.
Oui, avec des
œufs vegetal. Yeah,
nice.
so that's what we're having for breakfast. So hey, dig in. Let's have your opinion.
Wow. So you still use the word fries instead of pommes.
Pommes is potato.
Pommes is potato.
Yes.
Yeah, pommes frites.
The frites, yes,
fried potatoes.
yes. Yeah, but it would have been too long. It would have been too long, so we had to retain the...
Can you all just register us for your French classes?
Speaking
wow, this is really good. This is really...
Thank you.
Yes, I love the eggs. I love the eggs.
Beautiful. Amazing. So we have some partying to do. It's World MM Day! Happy birthday, baby girl.
Happy birthday.
You know we all love you here. You too. Even though sometimes we want to drag your week, but it's fine.
No, but not today. Not today.
All right, and of course, happy birthday to everyone celebrating today. We wish you the very best. Shout out to Debola Ajiboye. Love you so much. Mwah, mwah, mwah. Bye, everyone. Happy birthday.